Am I the only one who thinks that OM system may have a chance to single-handedly revive Micro Four Thirds? Welcome to another video from me, the biggest OM system fan in the world. Yes, I called it myself, as you can see. Well, anyway, of course I am. But I'm also a professional who makes money from creating things with all my cameras. And I'm also a nerd who loves techs and gadgets. Of course, naturally, I will say that OM system camera with all those cool computational photography features that still lead the industry definitely satisfy all my man cave desires and needs as a proper photographer because of his track record being a co-founder of Micro Four Thirds Alliance together with the best color science, best IBIS, and with all the bells and whistles that make an idiot like me takes brilliant photos with ease. So naturally, I would think that OM system can be the one to revive Micro Four Thirds, right? This video is about what I think OM system has now and what they may need to make it happen in the future. But before I continue, please remember to like and subscribe so you can spread the love around the world. And please also let me know if you agree what I'm about to say in this video later. And second, your thoughts on OM system's present and future too. Yes, I am an OM system ambassador, but I also consider myself as the ambassador for this micro format. For us, micro photographers and creators. And this video is made not to promote OM system, but more like a love letter to the company from someone who believes the system and what I think could make the brand the one to revive Micro Four Thirds and propel it to the next level. If you're new to this channel, I want to clarify that I've not always been a Micro Four Thirds guy. In fact, I only joined the cam in 2016, and before that, I was a full-frame Canon and Leica photographer. And the reason I moved over to Micro Four Thirds is well documented in this channel, and you're welcome to browse around after this video or later when you're away from your kids or other half. But today, it's all about my take on OM system in its current state and how I see the future for both the company and the format, as a photographer and a content creator. I know, Tornado Lover would be bashing this video and say, Micro Four Thirds is dead. Again. Hey, freedom of speech and you say what you want to say, mate. But many has said that many years ago. And continue to say so. So really, saying Micro Four Thirds is dead really doesn't hold any weight anymore. And since 2022, OM system has been very busy, pushing out product after product, from the flagship and the best-selling capable OM1 camera, and the cute and freakishly capable and ultra-compact OM5, and some amazing lenses like the latest 90mm macro pro lens. As it stands, OM system looks good, and the sales figure shows. Even overall as a format, at least according to Japanese BCN reports, that Micro Four Thirds has been consistently be the #2 format in lens sales, just behind Sony E-mount, and only got overtaken by Nikon for the past couple of months, largely because of the cash rebate program. But we're living in a very fast-moving digital world, and sadly, this is also why I think OM system, while doing a fantastic job in turning around and slowly regaining its place as a brand after the rebranding from Olympus, needs to move quicker than ever before. And before I talk about new camera models, let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now. First is firmware update. To give you an example, while the OM1 has been a great stills camera, the video department needs some improvements, namely continuous focus during video recording. Yes, there have been a couple of firmware updates that did just that, but I just want to be honest that for YouTubes and vlogs, I still use my EM1 Mark III and the OM5, because the OM1's video CAF seems to have a mind of its own. I don't know why, whether it's the new BSI sensor or not, but the previous generation live mode sensor on the EM1 series and also the latest OM5 seems to be a little bit more reliable when it comes to video tracking. So it still needs fixing, and I'm sure OM system will sort it out eventually. And today's video isn't about fixing things, it is more about adding new features to the camera via firmware's update. It's been over a year now, and it is time. I personally think that OM system should give the OM1 a midlife update, like a facelift for a car when it reaches a midlife cycle. And if you remember, OM system or Olympus EM1 Mark II received not one, but two major updates, firmware 2.0 and 3.0. The latter really transformed the camera into a great hybrid option back in 2018. But we're in 2023. Even OM1 is the current king for video in the OM system lineup, I would like to see some updates to bring the video side more current when it comes to features. So I can make more Hollywood films with the OM1, of course, with something I'll talk a little bit more later in this video. As great a still camera as the OM1, it can also be made better, maybe with additional subject tracking modes. Well, this has been talked about for a while. In fact, since the EM1X. And while I can't see OM system will give the X another update, well, anyway, I don't know, maybe they will. But for the OM1, which was designed and confirmed by the company that it will subject to some major future updates. So, I think 2023, it is the time for a major update. This is what I can think of now, at present time. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below and how you feel about OM system at this moment in time. Well now, let's spend some time and talk about the future. And we have a lot to talk about. I know, if you feel bored already, well, you can stop right here and go grab a beer or coffee. But if you love Micro Four Thirds and OM system in general, well then stick around and see if you agree what I'm about to say. First, I would like to talk about camera models. Well, the OM1 and the OM5 are still relatively new. So the logical progression to add to the catalog will be a new entry-level model. Well, even SpongeBob can't really guess what it is.
Welcome to our club! Welcome to our club! Welcome Squidward! Welcome Squidward! Welcome Squidward! Welcome Squidward! Welcome Squidward!
Shut your half-wit pie holes!
The new entry model would be called OM10? I don't know, I'm just guessing.
That's impossible!
To replace the EM10 series. But this future camera can be a very tricky model to launch. As popular as it is in the Asian market, the EM10 successor needs to break the mold a little. Well, it needs to be more capable, not handicapped like it's always been in the past. Like any entry-level cameras, the new OM10 needs to drive more new customers to the system. I personally think that it is time to give this little baby a hybrid focus system. Well, it doesn't need to have the latest BSI sensor or the speed of the OM5. But even giving the EM5 Mark III gut to OM10 would make it a much better position to fight off many competitors. In fact, I would go as far as to say that if that happens, the OM10 could be the best OM system camera to buy and own. Because there will be no camera at this price point to feature a hybrid AF system. And that alone will be sufficient for most. Many travel photographers are amateurs or enthusiastic mums and dads, and they don't need an all-singing, all-dancing camera that still works after an atomic explosion. So something that, well, allows them to take nice travel photos and videos with the kids playing around would be sufficient. And you may argue that, well, the current EM10 series is already good enough for these people, right? Yes, but we are in 2023. What I mean is that many young families were brought up with Instagram, Facebook, and soon TikTok. And that means what EM10 was good for in the past can no longer satisfy the new crowds. If OM Systems' aim is to drive more people into the system, to sell more lenses, and looking at a long-term strategy, I think an overhaul OM10 will most certainly give the company not only a fighting chance, but a victory in capturing these new generations of everyday life social media active users. So, if the OM10 has hybrid AF, it will immediately have something to shout about. For an entry-level camera, be ahead of the crowd before someone else does it. any current OM system camera user would agree, the EM5 Mark III was and still is a brilliant camera. Literally a shrunk down version of the stunning EM1 Mark II that I today still recommend to people. So a tiny, ultra lightweight camera that has amazing IBIS, hybrid AF, will most certainly make an impression to 90% of the photographers and content creators out there, who basically want a budget yet capable camera for day-to-day capture, who thinks high-end cameras were just too much for them, really, both in features and price. Of course, I'm not going to speculate anything here, only my thoughts on how important the next OM system camera can be. But now we're talking about future cameras. Maybe also talk a little bit about the Pen F. Well, in fact, the Pen series in general. Well, we had the EP7, but it's more like the EM10 Mark IV with a nicer dress. It's also need to address the newer generation of users, as I mentioned just before. But the premium pen model has had a pause in the development for quite a long time. We've all witnessed the rise of the retro-looking rangefinder-style cameras being resurrected and popularized by influencers over the past couple of years, which driving up the costs, even the older generation models, most notably the Fuji X100 series and the X Pro series. There aren't many really kind of retro-looking rangefinder-style mirrorless camera out there, unless you're willing to splash 2 to 5 times the price to get a Pixie or digital Leica M, a real digital rangefinder camera. That leaves a gap for OM system to fill. Well, Panasonic did have a rangefinder style camera before, but no way I would call it retro looking or even pretty. Sorry, Panasonic Cam. But OM system really is the only camera that left that can fill the demand of this kind of retro hyped up market. But what they can't do is to repeat one of the most notable and fatal flaw of the original Pen F, autofocus. Well, the original Pen F was a beautiful and well-built machine with performance to almost match the then flagship, the EM1 Mark II, except the autofocus, but charging almost as much as one too. If the Pen F was given the hybrid AF from the EM1 Mark II to start with, it would have been one of the best, if not the best seller in Olympus. You see, the Pen F already has a cult following, and it's actually growing in size. Many want one but couldn't find one used, and even if they managed to find one, it is not cheap by comparison. So a Pen F2 may be the saving grace for OM System's retro niche line. But if this time has weather seal, better EVF, and of course the hybrid focus, then I'm almost certain that it can sell well. But none of this will happen if OM System does not expand its current course. Well, I mean, anything outside of outdoor and wildlife photography. Well, the OM10 could be, but the Pen F, well, it isn't something that will fit any of its current profiles, despite Olympus made a name from the pen cameras. Yeah, I'm not joking. If you remember, Olympus' very first Micro Four Thirds camera was the Pen EP1, not OMD. So you see just how much Olympus and now OM System has changed over the years. Finally, should OM System build a more video-centric camera? Well, I think it should. Well, I may be selfish here, but as much as a photographer myself, I'm also a commercial filmmaker producing small videos for clients and, of course, filming this very channel. And over the years, I supported Olympus, and this channel is built from Olympus gear. And all the videos, despite many still ask, are filmed with OMD cameras and lenses. And apart from the very first few, which they came from Canon. But you see, Panasonic managed to make a decent photography-centric G9, and if we can have an equivalent video-centric OM System camera, and I'm not asking for a GX6 level of camera, but something that's more than what the OM1 currently offers, would hugely benefit many that I convinced to the OM system from Panasonic. And many currently are still sticking with OM1, mainly because of its hybrid focusing system. But if the rumored G9 Mark II or G10 or whatever Panasonic decides to call it does feature hybrid focusing system, I personally think that these excommunicado may return to the dark side. Better still, if OM system can have a high megapixel sensor to go with the new camera, that would be absolutely incredible. And I personally think that future-proofing too for OM system as a brand that we know. Video is only going to get more popular, especially with the younger generation again. As much as I hate to admit, if a camera doesn't offer half-decent video feature these days, it simply won't sell as much. As Sony has proved it, 48% of the sales come from its vlogging cameras. There you go. So Olympus and OM system have the argument with photography for so long that if you take your smartphone photography to the next level, you need a proper camera. Well, think about that. The same goes with video. You see, many influencers now are using their smartphones to film their shorts, reels, and TikTok contents. But the high-end creators now use proper cameras for their creations. And this market is growing quicker than the weeds in the garden. And sooner or later, they will cover the entire space. I'm not suggesting videos will replace photos, not at all. But I am suggesting that it is an important area that OM system cannot afford to miss. Simple. The truth is, OM system already has the technologies, the fundamentals to make a great video camera. And all they need is to let the software development to allow video features to be implemented into their future cameras. We've seen OM1 marking a huge leap by finally including 10-bit recording, HLG, and C4K60. But its continuous AF in video, together with lack of video expansion features, makes the camera behind many hybrid cameras on the market at similar price range. What do you think? There you go. This is my love letter to OM system. And once again, I'm making this video not as an ambassador, but as an honest user who loves the Micro Four Thirds system and Olympus and our OM system cameras. As a fanboy, I would like to see people talking about this system or raving about it, like it once was in the 80s and 90s. I'm a photographer who is proud to use Micro Four Thirds cameras for work, despite many ask, why? Well, and critically, I am only a handful of creators left on YouTube space who is actively promoting this format in 2023. And even Superman gets tired when he tries to fight the world alone. And I need a mothership who can continue to supply me with ammunition so I can continue to fight. And you get the idea. Anyway, that's it, folks. Thanks again for watching, and I would like to hear your thoughts about this video and whether you agree on what I said about OM system and Micro Four Thirds in general in the comment section below. Well, that's it. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Peace. Welcome to the bonus section, and yes, what do you think what I said in the video? There are a lot I wanted to say, but I just don't want to create this video to be like 30 minutes or even 3 hours long, because I have a lot to say about this. But yeah, it's nothing against what OM system has done. They've done a great job in really reviving the brand, and I can see the success. I can see they're doing really, really well. Yeah, but it's just something that I think personally, the certain areas I think the OM system could potentially introduce to the system. Maybe it's just paying a little bit more attention to it and to make it a better system for a lot more people. At the moment, they're quite focused on one direction, and I know it's good. That's their niche, and also that's basically what they can continue to promote the size and weight and agility kind of theme for Micro Four Thirds system in general. But the thing is, the system is great. They have a lot to say. The IBIS, for instance, there's no way you can match a Micro Four Thirds system IBIS, whether it's going to be OM system or Panasonic. Yeah, we all know that Micro Four Thirds has the best IBIS compared to APS-C and full frame. You can't match the same level of stabilization. And what that means is that it makes a great still travel cameras and also video camera. And not everybody needs full frame. Not everybody needs to pay thousands and thousands of pounds or dollars to get something really expensive that only used occasionally. And this sort of thing, Micro Four Thirds cameras, they're small enough and light enough to be carried everywhere, to go travel with. And as you can see from all the content I filmed this channel and also my new Instagram account, you can see all the photos I've done with the Micro Four Thirds system. You can get absolutely professional results with any of these cameras and lenses here. And yeah, it just depends on how you create things, and I know marketing from other formats will say otherwise, and also some of the big influencers, they all have their belief. But I make money from photography and also now filmmaking, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, there are advantages, technological advantages about bigger formats and sensors, but at the end of the day, do you need those systems to create what you are supposed to be creating? And for whoever was going to be viewing them, you make that judgment, and if you don't make money from it, is it really worthwhile spending like, I don't know, 10 grand on something that you don't make money off? It's going to depreciate after 2 years anyway. This is a fantastic alternative and is capable as well, will make you all the contents that you need, all the photos that you need for a much lesser price. And I'm not joking. And this is why one of the reasons why OM system would go for the wildlife stuff, because wildlife long tele lenses are super expensive. You go for the full frame, you see the likes of Canon and Nikon, the 8, 10, 15, 20 grand, these are huge lenses. But Micro Four Thirds, the Olympus, brilliant 150 to 400, f4 to 5.6 Pro, that lens is only selling for 8 grand. I know 8 grand is still a lot of money, but compared to the equivalent in Sony, Nikon and Canon cam, this is cheap. This is half the price, right? You get the same reach. Why not? So same thing goes with all the other lenses. That's what I'm suggesting here. Anyway, enough what it is that I'm trying to say about Micro Four Thirds. And but I do sincerely hope the OM system to do well. And personally, I already mentioned in the G9 rumor video, the current 20 megapixel sensor still works for my professional work at present, but it may not in the future. So I really hope that I don't have to buy another camera just for high megapixel count just to do my jobs. I would love to continue to shoot professionally with OM system gear. And so yeah, I just really hope that they will produce a high megapixel sensor camera very, very soon, so I don't have to switch. Not switching, I'm not going to switch, but I'm just have to add to the system just to do my agency work, just because I need to. And but anyway, that's another story for another day. And so I'm going to leave it as that. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and you know what to do. Remember, the thumb and like, and also share and comment down below, because the more comments you leave in the video, the more active you are. Google will think that it's a cool video. Anyway, speak to you all soon, and enjoy yourself wherever you are, and keep taking photos and videos, of course. Bye for now.